Fall, winter, and holiday fragrances are about to come into season, and you may be looking for a liquid body wash with a strong men's fragrance to match the holidays. Today, I'm going to make a men's balsam and bamboo lotus body wash in this episode of Thermal Mermaid. In this episode, I'm going to touch on the essential oils in your liquid body washes, especially the pines and the outdoorsy fragrances, and give you a bit of insight when you're choosing between these types of essential oils to get a pleasing scent in your products. There's a wide variety of outcomes depending on the pine you choose and the type of essential oil. And without a pleasant blend, your product can have a wide variation that smells anything like a mixed drink or a bug spray. So we're going to talk about blending these oils. Now, this is a liquid soap base, and if you're interested in the exact recipe that you see me make here, this is posted in the exclusive page dedicated to the men's balsam and bamboo lotus body wash found in the Thermal Mermaid recipe directory. This is exclusively for the Mermaid and Siren level members, and the direct link to the downloadable instructions and the recipe are just below this video. Now, just before we get started, I want to tell you that I have a surprise guest that I'm about to introduce to you in my next video. If you're interested in true African black soap and you want to learn how to make this, then you may quickly have learned that there is a very different process involved than the way that most of us crafters make our cold or our hot process soaps. And access to original resources could even be impossible depending on where you live in the world. So in my next video, I have found a talented artist who has spent her time troubleshooting some of these obstacles, and she's come up with a version of North American black soap that is absolutely exquisite. Together, we are going to share this with you, so be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out when we dive into reconstructing this formula for you, for your local area. Now let's move on to today's project. In order to create a liquid body wash, we have to start with a base liquid soap, and then we tweak it into a soft, sudsy wash with the fragrance of your choice. Now, to get this project started, we're going to start just like we would when making a hot process soap. Now, a moment ago, you watched me make the lye water solution from potassium hydroxide and distilled water. I pre-made that solution and I allowed it to cool to about 160 degrees. Now, we are still going to cook this right back up again in the crock pot with some additional ingredients added, but by allowing it to cool first, we will allow the ingredients to be introduced gently so that these things can be incorporated together without being shocked. Now, the process for cooking a liquid soap is almost the same for cooking a hard bar of soap with a few additional steps. So if you've never cooked soap before, this is a more advanced method, and I would recommend that you roll back just a bit and become familiar with slow-cooked bars of soap. And if you need resources on that, you can find that in Lesson 3 in the Thermal Mermaid Soapmakers course, which is also part of the free content when you sign up as a member. So if you've come across this video as a new soap maker, there are also a lot of helpful resources that will get you up to this level of soap making absolutely free. And you can find that in the links below. Now, as you're watching me make this, the crock pot itself is going to be doing most of the heavy work, and once this has been properly cooked down into the final stages, I'll eventually add in some glycerin and some distilled water to the recipe and continue to lightly blend until I get a nice golden glistening liquid. This entire process can take anywhere from an hour to 4 hours depending on how high you have the crock pot set, how much time you have in your day, how slow you're moving along with it. So it's not something that needs to be rushed, but it doesn't have to take too much of your time if you want to move along in the process. This is really up to you as you're working with your soap. Now, once this is finished, stearic acid can be used to thicken the liquid wash, and then as it cools, it will start to thicken up. And of course, once it has finally cooled, you can't forget to add your preservative to the final product. Now, in this particular blend that you see me making here today, this is a men's body wash with a pine essential oil as its base aroma. Now, if you aren't familiar with the pine and the outdoor fragrances for men, then selecting a fragrance oil blend over a straight essential oil could be a better option for a new formulator. The reason is that many of your soap supply fragrance oils are already formulated to be pleasant, so you may try a pine-based blend, and as you purchase it from your soap supplier, you may just discover that you like it or not, but at least someone did craft it to be overall pleasing, so it will likely work really well in whatever men's body wash that you're making. Now, if you are blending your own fragrances and you're using essential oils, not all pine needle essential oils are the same, and it is helpful to know what it is that you want before you try to start experimenting with it. Some pine oils are very strong and even have useful purposes as aromas that are known to repel bugs and mites, like a strong cedar. Cedar wood chips are very often used as bedding for animals, and cedar sprays are very often very strong aromas that you'll find in actual bug repellents that you spray on you when you send your kids outdoors. So this may be a useful essential oil to put in any of your washing products that you are intending for someone who may be working outdoors or you want to have that effect. But some essential oils also could have some other familiar types of aromas, like juniper, which may invoke fragrances of Christmas or maybe even a gin and tonic. So if you like or dislike having memories or thoughts invoked along with certain types of fragrances, keep that in mind when you're trying to blend in your pine oils. Now, blending too many pine-based essential oils can be kind of confusing to the senses if you're just mixing them all together. Some of these fragrances are very strong. Some have a very sharp aroma to them. Some are soft. Some are more pleasing than others. They don't all necessarily go together. So if you're looking for a soft musk after wash, then you might want to choose a base pine that you've already decided that you like, use that as your base note, and then blend it down with another wood type or even an air type fragrance. Balsam is one of the softer essential oils, and it offers a very pleasant, warm, cozy aroma. And in this recipe that you see me making here, I've blended it down with a bamboo and lotus fragrance oil to soften it without leaning toward the sweets or the flowers. It's still a very masculine scent. Other nice combinations are Siberian fir with coconut. And you can also use balsam with organic shea butter, which has a very nutty wooden aroma. So if you were to put your organic shea butter in as after your soap is made as a super fat, then you would still collect that sort of nutty aroma that would go along with it, and that blends very nicely with the balsam essential oil. So the combinations that I've just suggested will create a very nice masculine aroma for the winter, for the autumn time, and they also carry a very nice clean scent to them, so they're perfect for a body wash. So as we finish up here, you can see the final product is a nice light golden body wash with a pleasant warm men's essential oil blend. Link to the recipe is below, and stay tuned for the next episode with our guest soap maker.